It's 2 a.m. Kabir is still scrolling. He knows he needs to sleep. He wants to put the phone down, but his thumb keeps swiping. It feels less like he's making his own choices and more like he's executing a pre-written program. This chart shows the reality. According to a 2006 Duke University study, 40% of the actions we take every day aren't conscious decisions. That means half your day is on autopilot. We think we're steering the ship, but we're caught in invisible, repeating loops. Now scale that up from a late-night scrolling session to an entire lifetime. Lisa Allen was 34 years old. She was thousands of dollars in debt, struggling with severe obesity, and her husband had just left her. She couldn't hold down a job for more than a year. Whether it's a minor annoyance like losing sleep to a screen or a complete downward spiral over 16 years, the underlying biological mechanism is exactly the same. The maze operates on the same rules. Desperate to clear her head, Lisa traveled to Cairo, Egypt. Stepping outside her hotel, she found herself staring out at the pyramids of Giza and the massive desert beyond them. Surrounded by that overwhelming scale, she realized she needed a singular target to force her life into focus. Right then, she made a vow. In exactly 1 year, she would return to this spot and trek across that brutal desert. That is a massive, life-altering commitment. Kabira, on the other hand, set a tiny micro-goal, an alarm to simply walk out onto his terrace at 5:30 a.m., leaving his phone inside. How can a grueling desert trek and a morning alarm possibly serve the same function? How do such wildly disconnected actions fix complex failures? To escape the autopilot trap, you don't need overwhelming force to fix everything at once. You only need to find the specific point of leverage that disrupts the existing pattern. In behavioral psychology, this leverage point is called a keystone habit. It's a single foundational behavior that, when altered, sets off a biological chain reaction across all your other routines. For Lisa, getting in shape to cross the desert meant she had to stop smoking. She swapped her smoke breaks for jogging. That single chain automatically caused her to eat better, sleep on a normal schedule, and plan her workdays with structure. She didn't need extra willpower for those other improvements. When researchers studied her brain later, scans proved her old automatic pathways had physically altered. The chaotic routines were dimming. In their place, a completely new neurological pattern formed right in her frontal lobe. The scientists explicitly labeled this specific structure self-discipline. True discipline isn't a rare personality trait. It is a literal, physical structure in your brain, and you can build it simply by knocking over a single keystone habit. If altering one routine can rewire an individual's biology, what happens when you apply this exact same logic to thousands of people at once? Investigative reporter Charles Duhigg found the answer during a meeting with a U.S. Army major stationed in Baghdad. At the time, massive, violent public riots were erupting in Iraqi plazas. These crowds weren't entirely spontaneous. They had a predictable rhythm. The riots had become a deeply ingrained collective habit of the society. The major didn't call in more troops or escalate force. Instead, he made one counterintuitive request to the local mayor: clear all the street food vendors out of the gathering plazas. People gathered to protest, but as the hours ticked by and their energy dropped, there were no kebab stands to refuel them. The hidden reward was gone. The crowd grew hungry, lost energy, and simply went home. Mass crowds run on the exact same loop as an individual's brain. The American philosopher William James observed that our entire lives are simply a mass of habits. That is the core of Duhigg's framework. Whether you're trying to fix a single person's ruined finances, restructure a massive corporation, or de-escalate a riot in a city plaza, the blueprint is identical. You don't have to fight your autopilot directly with sheer force. Find your keystone habit. Disrupt the cue, remove the reward, and let your own biology do the heavy lifting for you. Back on the terrace, Kabir takes a breath of the cold morning air. At 5:30 a.m., there is no blue light, no endless scrolling, and no maze. By taking control of the first domino, he's rewriting his own script.